Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Sampling Samples. Before we get into it, I just want to wish everybody out there, all the ladies, the gentlemen out there, just a happy new year. I had a great time over the holidays. Yes, I was kind of slowing down with the videos here in the past couple of weeks, but I'm hopefully getting back into the groove. Today I'm going to be shooting several videos for all of you, yes, and hopefully I can start pumping those out for you. So today a sampling samples video, actually on one of my favorite brands, the man himself, a great nose out there, Mr. James Heeley, and his brand, of course, Heeley. You've known him from my channel with Mount Fresh. I've talked about Mount Fresh quite a bit. I'm a huge fan of his nose. I love Mount Fresh. I'm a huge fan of it. Celle Marin is also another good one. Cuir Plein Fleur, his leather-based fragrance is absolutely stunning. Probably his best fragrance. I really like his blend. He's kind of like Jean-Claude Elena. A lot of his fragrances really don't shout as far as longevity and projection, but really the notes themselves, you can smell the quality, and that's a huge impression on me. You know, there's a lot of his fragrances that really the blend itself, the way he masters everything together, and of course blending that one note like Mount Fresh with the mint, Celle Marin with that aquatic like feel, he really does nail it as far as his nose, and I absolutely love a lot of his compositions. So if you're first hearing about Mr. James Heeley's work today on this video, go check out my video on Mount Fresh. I absolutely love that fragrance. I'm working on Celle Marin. I'm working on the review for Cuir Plein Fleur, also his leather-based fragrance. I own several from the brand. I love this brand, but today I'm going to be speaking about his iris-based fragrance. So iris lovers out there, please listen up. This fragrance called Iris de Nuit. Now, Iris de Nuit is actually an exclusive on YouTube. Yes, exclusive. I love these. I'm really actually surprised, especially with Mr. James Heeley. The Heeley brand on YouTube has been talked about quite a bit. Actually, a lot of our reviewers who love the brand talked about the brand. And a lot of our YouTubers actually love the note of iris. So I'm really surprised that nobody has really spoken about this fragrance, but let's get into it. And I'm really honored to actually be talking about this fragrance today to all of you and kind of let the YouTube community know a little more about Iris de Nuit. So let's get into it. The big notes of this fragrance, of course, I'm looking at iris. I want to get that iris feel from this fragrance. There's also violets and cedar. Those are the big notes to my nose that came into this sample. Now, again, I'm coming to expect a good blend here. I'm not expecting a lot of cedar from this fragrance, even though it's one of the big notes. Usually Mr. Heeley tones down his woods in his fragrances. It's more about the blend, the quality of the blend, and really how he emphasizes the note of iris in the whole blend as far as the fragrance goes. And of course you got a lot of florals here with the iris and the violet. So let's see what I get from the fragrance. Now, my first impression of Iris de Nuit was it's definitely orris root based. And when I'm talking about orris root, I'm talking about, of course, the note of iris. It gives you that soft, pillowy, creamy iris, kind of thinking of like a white floral creamy like feel. If you've never smelled iris, really a beautiful note in fragrances. Not one of my favorites, but really a really great note in a fragrance. Mr. Heeley really did give you that soft, pillowy, creamy iris like feel, which I came to expect from a great nose like that. Now, the iris itself actually battles it out with the violet, so you're going to get that watery like feel that violets kind of gives you, and a good touch of cedar. This scent, as many times as I actually wore it throughout with my sampling, it always feels very mute and close to the skin. It does feel very refined though, and that's what I really wanted to come to expect from Mr. Heeley's fragrances, and he does not disappoint with the Iris de Nuit. It smells refined, and it's always a great sign when you're smelling niche based fragrances. You kind of want to start smelling rich, and you want to smell that quality. Here he doesn't disappoint. There is quality to the whole fragrance. All of Heeley's scents feel like they do have the same build to them. This as a composition does feel like, you know, Mount Fresh and Celle Marin. As far as the composition goes, it does really remind me on how the notes really dance together throughout the life of the fragrance. So if you're used to his blends, this is going to come to no surprise to you. Very soft, but very well blended together. Notes high quality. Very rich composition, really well done by Mr. Heeley. Now the staying power in this fragrance, this is where you're going to hear a lot of different opinions on the staying power of Idis de Nuit, and this is where sampling is very important. I know a few people out there in our community that says this scent is beast on their skin. And again, it comes out to sampling. As far as Mount Fresh goes, I really love that fragrance, and it does give me a lot of longevity and projection, but a lot of people it really doesn't, so sampling is best. With Idis de Nuit, for me, it was very faint and mute, so it was really lower than my actual standards that I'm looking for. Longevity was 5 to 6 hours tops on my skin every single time I sample it, and projection was also very faint. So really Idis de Nuit really disappointed as far as those factors go. Now the good thing about Idis de Nuit was the quality of the scent and the blend. Again, I can't say much more than that as far as Heeley's scents. All of them do have this quality as far as the scent and the blend. You're not going to get any better than this. As far as the bad, again, you're going to hear a lot of this from the brand, is the staying power is weak on Idis de Nuit on my skin. You have to test it, since I've heard different from other people, as I mentioned earlier in this video. And I still think, as far as the note of iris goes, I think Dior, Christian Dior's Dior line, as far as the vintage stuff, I think they perfected iris for iris lovers for a great price, something like around $100 or less. Dior Intense, and the brand that has that whole iris base to them, really perfected it as far as pricing goes and as far as quality goes. You can't beat it, and that's why going into the niche game, even though iris is very rich note, and sometimes in the niche game, you really don't have to go spend $200-300 to get that high quality you actually get in the designer game. And there's only quite a few, just a small handful of iris-based fragrances that really do it for me as far as the niche game goes. This one really is just good. It's not great as far as an iris-based fragrance. So my final take on this fragrance, of course, would I get another sample? Would I purchase the bottle? Or would I consider this a whole pass? You're going to see a lot of this in sampling samples, and this one's just one more sample, another sample. I like this fragrance. This is actually my third sample of Idis de Nuit, and I never really loved the fragrance every time I sample it, but it's always been decent, so it's always something that I like to go back to, and maybe the next time it's going to blow me away and I might just get a bottle. But as far as this one goes, it's decent, but I never really I don't fall in love with this this fragrance. And that goes to star rating, of course, 1 to 5, 1 being trash bin and 5 being absolutely great. You kind of see the flow of this this review, and this one's going to be right down the middle, and it's going to be a 3-star fragrance, guys. 3 stars out of 5. Very much worth a sniff, especially if you're an iris lover. James Heeley, if you haven't smelt any of his compositions and you love iris, this one is sample worthy. Definitely sample worthy, not buy worthy. Not the best from the brand either. I really enjoy a lot more of his work than this stuff, but a solid iris, but just not a great one in my opinion. So guys, this is another episode of Sampling Samples. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Definitely comment below if you've tried it. Idis de Nuit. I'm assuming there's a lot out there that have tried it and are watching this video. Definitely comment below, let me know, especially for the staying power. Let me know what you think about this fragrance, good, bad, everything. Thanks for watching. Have a happy new year, everybody.